We're live. Today at work, I wore my Star Wars tie, see if it's got Stormtrooper helmets. And I got my Kylo Ren tie tack. It was a bad day at work. That's why I'm still dressed like this. Not a fun day. Hey, Jeff. So before I get into everything else, I think I want to talk about some good news first. So the good news is that, it was a bad day at work, and then top it off with everything else that went on tonight. It's just been a really frustrating day, but it'll be okay. I do have some good news. Over on the the Rebel Armory, there's a build going on for a young lady who's visually impaired. Her name's Melissa. I won't go at it any more than that. And I'm going to be a contributor to her lightsaber. I'm actually going to build the NeoPixel blade for her lightsaber, and it's basically a charity build, and it's really a cool saber. There's a thread on it on the TRA, and trying to think of the guy's name. He's one of the armory guys that's building the saber. Big saber guy down in South Carolina. Hey, Michael Dallin. At any rate, I'm building Melissa's NeoPixel blade, so there's some good news. Some other good news. I'm pretty much finished with this DV6 install. It's all over with the Cryon. I just have to add on the board covers and everything, and add on the switch assembly, but I'll turn it on there so you can see it. You can see the crystals pulsing, and got NeoPixel accents doing their thing. I'm not finished doing all the programming yet, but she works. And touch the wires here and ignite it. Hang on a minute, it's precarious. Put it in lockup, huh? So that's almost done. Hopefully next week.
Don't make me destroy you.
Hopefully next week, this will be completely done and buttoned up. And I'm pretty close. Let me turn that off. Pretty close. So I'm doing another DB6 too, but I got this one. I've got a instead of a Goth chassis, I'm using Dimitri Stock's chassis in this one. And it's, you can see my crazy wiring, but all those are way too long. But board goes here. There's a cover that goes over the board. It's going to be awesome. And I'll show you what because I have an assembled DB6 here. So if you want to see what those, yeah, it is on Goss chassis too. So here's an assembled DB6, and this is Goss chassis, very similar to the one I showed you at the beginning of the video. But these covers, I still have to install the covers over the Profi. But yeah, I mean, the crystal chamber's on the bottom, and then the Profi's, right under these covers here. But, you can see the programming port and the SD card on that Profi. This was my Profi 2.2 beta saber. Hey, Maker Channel. Hey, Max. But at any rate, I love the DV6. It's a fun install, and it's a fun install because the switch PCBs are already engineered. So, when you're installing those, you don't have to engineer any switch debacles, and you'll have to pardon me. Slancha. Yeah, thank the maker, Max. Ugh. Gonna start wearing your teensy saber today. Any tips? Go slow, read the instruction manuals, and check out my videos. Hey, Bone Church. Haven't seen you in a while. Awesome to see you tonight. So for months, we've been joking about the secret saber from KR Sabers, which is the KRORSSguard. And, really quick, I'm going to talk about, a lot of the prop history on CRORSSguards. Corbanth and Phoenix Props have both come out with two different versions of the CRORSSguard. Probably the most heavily sought after hilt currently in the lightsaber community is the Phoenix Props version 2 CRORSSguard. An uninstalled Phoenix Props version 2 that's finished will go for around $3,000 empty. So it's highly sought after. basically in the KRORSSguard lightsaber community, of which I'm a member, because I'm a Kylo Ren in the 501st Legion. I'm a member of the Knights of Ren costume group. Hey, Mike. And, basically most of us had, Black Series sabers that we modded. In fact, the saber I troop with is a Black Series Teensy Saber NeoPixel Kylo. That's still the saber I troop with. I've installed 3 of the Corbants. I don't like the Corbant V2s. I don't like the hatch on the Corbant V2s. I just didn't like them. And then, for about the last 9-10 months, Cal's been announcing, his KRORSSguards. And, a few weeks ago, he announced that he was going to release them today on May 4th on Star Wars Day. And I knew that was going to be a mess, which it was. And, there were only 100 available. Now, if you go and look at the comments on any of those KRORSSguard groups on Knights of Ren, there's if you built 1,000 of those things, they would have sold out immediately. So to only run 100 of them and then launch them on Star Wars Day on May the 4th, that equals shit show. And it was. And don't get me wrong, because I love Cal Jerome. I think Cal is awesome. He's still awesome. I don't think bad of Cal. And I know some of you are like, well, quit throwing a temper tantrum just because you didn't get a lightsaber. Well, it's that we've been waiting for so long for these. I just don't like the ASP's KRORSSguards. I've been waiting for this offering from Cal for a long time. I'm really surprised, frankly, that Phoenix Props didn't run another V2 because it was so popular. I think they enjoyed the price being so high on them. And the Corbanth KRORSSguard and the hatches, they left a lot to be desired. So I was pretty excited. Still am excited about KR Saber's offering. Don't like how it went down tonight. You're going to release a heavily vaunted saber that there's a hell of a lot more of a demand than 100, KRORSSguards on Star Wars Day. And it was a mess. I know he's going to make more. I just don't like the way that went down. That just seemed unlike what I would have expected out of the Saber Armory. To me, and this is me, and this is my opinion, and Cal may or may not watch this video, but this is my, oh no, I didn't get one. What I would have think is people that are interested, like Knights of Ren, Costume Group, the KRORSSguard Addict Support Group, to me, you go on those and you say, who wants one of these? If you want one, I'm going to open up a pre-order option, which I know Cal hates pre-orders. I'm going to have to censor that one, Max. No profanity in the communication bar, because when y'all use profanity in the chat bar, then my YouTube video gets dumped. So don't type anything profane in there. No offense, Max, I love you, but the YouTubers don't like that. But at any rate, I just think if we'd opened up a pre-order and got the interested parties invested in the run, that way Cal wouldn't have been fronting all the money for it. I just think that would have been a better way to do it. And I honestly think that if Cal would have run 2,000 KRORSSguards, they would have sold out tonight. Thanks, Max. I saw that. I think a pre-order, to fund the run is good. And then if Cal wants to invest his money in Sabers additional to the pre-order that people can jump on and fight on the internet for, then that's fine. But to me, I think a pre-order is the way to go. And, basically I spent an hour of my night tonight on the internet in the midst of a crap show at work, fighting, a bunch of people trying to put a lightsaber in my cart, and the website kept crashing. When I finally got my cart, there were 18 in my cart, and then I'm having to delete the 18 down to 2 and, modify the cart. And then I get to the payment and I submit payment, and there's still 6 left. When I submitted payment, boom, sold out. Sorry. And I was like, excellent. That's great. And I know Cal's going to make up for it. I'm not mad at Cal. I just wish this would have been I don't think Cal understood the demand for cross guards. I mean, there just is not a good Kylo Ren cross guard out there. The Corbanth was not good. Phoenix Props hasn't done another run, so good luck if you can find one of those, and they're $3,000 for an empty. Everybody was really looking forward to this run. That's why everyone's disappointed, because we knew it's going to be a great hilt, because KR Sabers does not produce bad products. I love KR Sabers. I love Cal. Verso board, his flagship hilts, every hilt he puts out. It's install friendly because Cal engineers them and thinks about it. He really thinks things through. But we waited, we did wait a long time for that. And I really wish there would have been a pre-order option for, I think if Cal would have opened a pre-order option, he would have had a greater appreciation for how much demand for this cross guard there actually was. Yeah, the Profi run was awesome. I mean, that's a prime example of a pre-order run that works smoothly. And everybody was patient with Cal on the pre-order run. I would have been patient for the last 9 months. But I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's my 2 cents on that. And it's kind of depressing. I know Cal's going to try to make up for it. He knows there are a lot of us that were hosed on the deal, and I'm sure he's going to make up for it. Yeah. That was not a good system, in my opinion. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's the end of the crossguard debacle. So next, since Mike's on here, I need to go get your Saber, Mike, because I got something to show you on your Saber butt. Look at those. Pretty cool, huh? This is something else that I do in my shop, which these are the button boards for micoms, which I'm in the middle of a micom run right now. Brand new. And by the way, Mike, they all test. So even though they're black, they still test fine. On the backside, there's no black. Sneak peek. That's all you get. Let's go get Mike's Saber real quick, because something came in for Mike this weekend. Stand by. Oy. Oh. Try to squeeze my behind in here in these tight quarters. So this is Mike's Saber, and there's his clamp card, which is brand new. We're still waiting on the pommel carrier. It had some scratches on the clamp card, Mike, on the traces. It is what it is. I mean, I can order another one, but
close your eyes. Feel it. The light. It's always been there. It will guide you. The Saber. Take it.
Yeah, that's your Skywalker clamp card, Mike. Activation. Blaster blocks. Lock up. Battery speed.
3.97 volts.
And I sent you pictures of your blade plug that's going in that. So except for the back portion, this is all done. And I'll build your blade. Yeah, it had some scratches in it, but I'll build your blade at the same time I'm building Melissa's blade. So at any rate, that's done. Let me shut it off so the battery doesn't die anymore. But yeah, that clamp card had a couple scratches in the gold traces. I mean, it's nothing that I would just keep it, but I might have a TFA clamp card from Sloth Furnace. So I have to check all my Graflex stuff, because I might have that. But at any rate, she's done, Mike. That's your Saber. It's done. I just got to build your blade. So your lightsaber's done. What else? What else is everyone else working on? Yeah, I'll check and see if I got a Sloth Furnace TFA card and slide it in there. I mean, to me, that clamp card's fine. It's just got some scratches on the gold traces, but I mean, by the time TFA came around, the Saber probably had some scratches in it. So yeah, I don't know. It's up to you. Doesn't matter to me. We'll just order another one from them if I don't have an extra one. But you know, I've got Mike's Graphics built. These two DV6s are pretty close to done. Building a blade, sweet. Then I can get those two rigs off. Building a blade for Melissa, building a blade for Mike. And after that, I'm at a NeoPixels. Yeah, no, my sabers are all scratched. My favorite one, that Dark Force Sabers Transcendence, which is my daily beater, that thing's falling out of my truck and everything else. The thing's, you know, crazy. You should have room in that big saber for an OLED, Max. That's for sure. And then you just have to figure out if you're going to cut a window into the hilt or not to see it. But you know, it's a busy day today at work. Those of y'all that know what I do, it was a bad day. It was an epic bad day. And you know, if y'all seen my name across the news, because the case that, you know, that we're working on is in the national news right now, but don't want to talk about that either. Mandalorian template dropped. Got all the other stuff, Max. That's awesome. Oh, the brass dual switch and the brass flagship hilt. So I used Robert Sotomayor's chassis on that, Ron. I have not seen the last episode of Clone Wars, but everybody keeps talking about it, so I know I obviously need to go watch it. But Ron, on that, on the brass flagship hilt, if you got, yeah, if you got Robert Sotomayor's chassis, and I don't like his new chassis because once you slide the chassis home, you can't access the Profi. So basically what I did is I cut a slot so I could slide the chassis in and out with the button installed. I cut a slot in the chassis so I could slide the chassis out so I can access the Profi to reprogram it. I haven't really got some feedback to him about those new hilts yet, the new chassis for the flagships, but I don't like how the Profi is captured and not accessible once it's installed. Because if you install it the way that Robert Sotomayor meant you to, you're that button, once it's in, that's the last thing you wire. So you would have your 3 button wires coming out through the hole, and then you would add your button and then push the button down in through the hole, and that locks the chassis in. Well, then you can't access your Profi anymore after that. So I think that was kind of a design flaw. And I'm sorry, Robert Sotomayor, if you watch this, but we need to talk about that chassis. I liked Robert Sotomayor's other chassis better. His other chassis, I think, had an 18650 sled in it, and the Profi was mounted back closer to the speaker, and it was accessible. But on this new chassis that he put out for the KR flagships, not so good, because the Profi is actually locked in underneath the hilt. I can get it and show you. Stand by. Oh, Lord have mercy. Coming back. And my other one is uninstalled in one of these boxes behind me. But this is the brass flagship, and you can see the dual tactile buttons there. And basically, when it comes out, you know, there's the chassis and there's your battery, but you can see the Profi's buried in there. And the way the Profi is, you know, the way it's supposed to be buried, you don't have access to it. But I've actually raised it up some, and that's why I've got these pieces of tape, because I'm trying to insulate the Profi from the hilt, because I had to raise it up so I can access the programming port. Wasn't that great of a chassis because the Profi's buried in underneath the threads, and I don't think that's good. I preferred it better when the Profi was back here in his other chassis. I just haven't got that feedback to him. But I mean, you know, there you go. There's the internals on it. And it works. I just, I think his original design was better. Look at that Arkham blade plug in that thing. Isn't that crazy? That's one of his shredders. Brass turbine shredder. Thing is awesome. Thing is wicked. That whole Saber is awesome. But yeah, Ron, if you just wire your button last and you send your button wires up through that hole, you know, as long as you're cool with your Profi programming, you know, it's okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, the flagship is a simple Saber to install. I mean, mine's simple. The only thing that made mine complicated is I used Dimitri Stock's in-hilt lit LEDs for the connector. That's the only complicated thing in that. Other than that, it's just a Saber. Yeah, Mr. A Gamer. Sometimes my day job makes life a nightmare. So this is how I cope with the stress, and I don't think days get any more stressful than today. It was a bad day at work. I have not seen FET's 263 prop file. I saw him drop the video, and I definitely want to go try it. I'm actually going to upload the new version of the OS, the one that's in beta, on my Dark Force Transcendence, and I'm going to try a couple of the different prop button files. I'm going to try Dimitri's, and I'm going to try Matt's. I'm going to try another one that I found that was modified, and then I'm going to try FET 263's. So I do want to try them all and see which ones I like. Oh yeah, well, you know, anything Fernando's working on is pretty awesome. So I trust that his button file is awesome too. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the video, Max. Just haven't had a chance because everything that's been going on at work, what's culminated in a, you know, not happy ending today. But you know, I'll try and get around to watching that. But I do have a lot going on. Actually, I think I'm going to build 2 more Graflexes while I'm going at this Saber stuff. Nasty. One of these DV6s I'm building is spoken for a friend of mine. Oh yeah, it is a good way to relax. You know, soldering electronics is definitely a better way to relax. It's a better coping mechanism than, you know, this. But needed a Guinness tonight. Yeah, it's very easy to change the prop button files. I probably need to do a video on that. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. Um, one is you can just rename the prop button file to the one that's used by Lightsaberino, which is I think mysaber.h. You can just take the one you want and rename it that, or you can actually address it in your config to call for whichever one you want to use. And there's instructions for that on the in the instruction manual for how to use the different prop button files. It's pretty easy. It's just a matter of changing a line in your config if you don't want to mess around in Arduino, but you can also alter it in Frederick's folders in Arduino to make it work, which is kind of how I do it, but you probably shouldn't do it how I do it because it's kind of complicated. Probably easier to just address it in your config. The reason I do it the way I do it is because typically I use the same prop button file in all the lightsabers I install. And I know tonight that I'm probably going to have to change the way I look at that because so many new features. Jennaru's on. You're too kind, Jennaru. You're too kind. But I did wear my stormtrooper tie. If y'all didn't see that, it looks like a white polka dotted tie from afar, but it's a stormtrooper tie, and I got my Kylo Ren tie clip. Yeah. So, you know, haven't ventured into prop button files at fairly easy. Yeah, I answered that. Max is asking you how you're doing, Jen. But busy day. Yeah, Rich, I didn't get it. Didn't get it. But you know, life goes on. We'll live. I'm sure Cal will make it up to us. All will be well in the world. You know, when it happened, I was mad. I was furious because I was on the internet for an hour trying to make it happen, and just didn't work out. I have a fully removable chassis. You talking like a modular chassis, Anthony? Like one that you can actually take out of your lightsaber completely and plug it into another saber? I mean, I've done removable chassis videos. They're on my YouTube channel. In fact, the 2 hour and 40. Oh yeah, I haven't done a modular chassis yet. You know, with some of the pin sets that are out there now, you know, it's highly possible to do a modular chassis. In fact, the funny thing is, I think I don't know that Jeff Birch is on here anymore, but Hexx Sabers ordered a bunch of stuff to build some modular chassis. So you might see Hexx Sabers if you're not subscribed to Jeff. Probably want to subscribe to Hexx Sabers. And I think he's getting ready to build a modular chassis for his Sabers, but uh, that's not in any of my immediate plans. Oh, yep, 1 month. There you go. Jeff chimed in. I know that's definitely in Jeff's plans, and you know, it's pretty cool. And I'll be watching Jeff's efforts with great interest, because if he can make that work out, you know, modular chassis systems I think are pretty cool if all lightsaber hilts had the same inside diameter and same button setups. But the problem for me is every lightsaber is so different with button setups and inside diameter. I think modular chassis could probably work for like Saber Forge or Ultra Sabers relatively easily. But trying to get a modular chassis that'll work in a Graplex, a DB6, a KRORSSguard, and not so easy. Oh, I'm excited for you to try it out too, Jeff. I mean, I I think there's definitely a lot of hilts out there it would work in. I just don't know that it's going to work in all the hilts. I mean, y'all have seen most of the lightsabers I install. I mean, they're original trilogy sabers, Graflexes, a lot of Graflexes. I don't do a lot of Saber Forge and Ultra Sabers, even though, you know, y'all have seen me build 2 Ultra Sabers in the last few months. Normally I don't mess around with Ultra Sabers too much, but I can. But I think the modular chassis would work good for that. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a place for modular chassis in some of the one lightsaber hilt that I want to work on but haven't got to. Um, my Phoenix props the light. Ooh, that's interesting, Jeff. I didn't see that. Yeah, I did. I made a Mara Jade Ultra Saber too. I think with Teensy Saber. I don't even think Profi was out when I built that Saber. I should reprogram that Saber because I could make it do more than it can now. I could just plug it into the computer and reprogram that thing, and it would be just as good as a Profi Saber right now. Yeah, it's always the buttons. You know, on these lightsabers, the buttons are always the tough engineering part of the process. Uh-oh. This is probably work. I'll have to call them back. It's work. It's something local. I'll call them back. Oh, cold weather's made it in. Yeah. I'll call them back here. I think I know who that is. But work still continues even though I'm home. That's the kind of day it's been. But that's kind of what I'm working on. Got these 2 DV6s, Mike's Graflex. Think I'm going to build 2 more Graflexes. And the Phoenix Prop the Light is in the works. And, you know, yeah, I didn't make it. Didn't make it. Cole didn't get it. I had them in my cart, and the website kept dropping out when I was trying to check out. And by the time the checkout screen came up, they were sold out. And that was after an hour of battling. So it was tough. Birchie and I were, the funny thing is, Birchie and I were talking back and forth on Facebook Messenger about what we were experiencing, and we're giving each other the countdown about how many are left as it was going on. And I was like, yeah, we're not going to get these things. I knew it. It had that feeling, had that we're not going to get them. And that was probably the frustrating part is I logged into the Saber Army. I put in my login information. I had my cart ready to go, and I'm just sitting there waiting for them to release. Add them to my cart. Go to checkout. Website crashes. Go back in. Website crashes. Go back in. Website crashes. See it. Add it to my cart. Website crashes. And I actually videoed some of my frustration in the midst of that. And I'll probably keep that to myself because there were some bad words in there. I might have said a couple bad words in those videos. I was yelling at the computer. What are you going to do? We move on. But I know we haven't been on that long, but I'm going to kind of abbreviate tonight because I need to call work back there and probably go to bed because I got to be back at it first thing in the morning with what we're working on. And oh, did I suit up like this to get a KRORSSguard? No, this is what I wear at work. This is just what I wear at work. Silly suit. But at any rate, tell Kelly I said hello, Jen. But I'm going to get going because I haven't even had dinner yet. And it's, coming up on 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, Mike, it's awesome. I'll put the back plate on there. I'll see if I can find a old TFA clamp card I can drop in there. If not, I'll try to get him to send another one. But yeah, that one's scratched up. And it's just some minor hairline scratches in the gold. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't bother me, but I don't want to send you a Saber that has defects in it right off the bat. Yeah, it was a bad day. But at any rate, I'm going to get going. And I wish you all the best. May the force be with you. Hopefully next week I'll have 2 brand new DV6s hot off the press, ready to show you guys, and they'll be up for sale whenever I get a chance to shoot the video. And I'll see you guys next Monday night, hopefully under better circumstances. And I'm ready to retire. I think I've had enough of days like today. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Y'all all have a great night. And, nobody jump on Cal Jerome from KR Sabers. I posted emotionally on his page, but I apologized about it. But, I mean, it wasn't that bad. But Cal is a major asset to this community. I just think we got to rethink. I think he underestimated the demand for those KRORSSguards, but we'll get it all sorted. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, we'll see you guys later, and we'll tune in next Monday for another fun episode of Megtooth Monday. And hopefully we'll have a couple cool lightsabers working that we can show you guys. We'll give you a sneak peek on. But at any rate, I got to sign off. I need to go get dinner. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you like my videos to help out, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And thank you for watching. May the force be with you all. Prayers are always with you all. Love you too, Jen. Happy Star Wars Day to everyone. Tomorrow's Revenge of the Fifth. I'll see you later. Peace, everyone.